All right, so buckle up, everyone. AI's been on fire lately, and we're diving headfirst into all the crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, seems like every day there's some new model or another company dropping millions on this tech.
Seriously, it's like trying to drink from a fire hose. We've got groundbreaking models, big money moves, and even some serious ethical debates brewing.
And the speed is just insane. It's impacting everything, and I mean everything.
That's why we're here. We got to cut through the noise and figure out what really matters, what's going to actually change the game.
Exactly right. We need to look at the models, the money, the ethics, and how this is all trickling down to real-world stuff.
Let's start with the models themselves. OpenAI's Sam Altman just announced plans for an open weights reasoning LLM.
Oh yeah, this summer they're dropping it. Their first one since, what, 2019?
Feels kind of huge, right? Open weights, for anyone listening who's not super deep in this, means the underlying code will be out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, it's a pretty big shift for them. I mean, think about it. Developers can finally get their hands dirty and tinker with the actual model.
Kind of like going from a sealed black box to something you can actually open up and understand.
Totally. And this could lead to some seriously cool stuff.
Hmm.
Imagine the innovations. When anyone can study, modify, even build on these models,
They're even asking developers for feedback. Like they're actually opening up the development process a bit.
that's a big signal for sure. Shows we're moving towards a more open and collaborative approach.
So OpenAI is making waves, but what about other model advancements? What else is blowing our minds?
Well, DeepSeek AI just unveiled DeepSeek V3 to show 0324. Not a ton of details out there yet, but it's definitely on our radar.
Another one to keep an eye on. And OpenAI has been busy beyond just the open weights thing. They've made some pretty impressive upgrades to image generation within GPT-4o.
Oh yeah, image modification is way better now. You can upload an image and ask for changes, and it actually remembers what you've already done.
No more starting from scratch every time.
Exactly. It's like the AI finally has a visual memory, and it's so much smoother now.
That multi-turn consistency, as they call it, is a pretty big deal.
It is, especially if you're doing any sort of creative work with AI. And the text rendering within images.
Way better, right? Seems like a small thing, but it's kind of crucial for a lot of applications.
Yeah, it's those details that can really make or break things. And it's not just about visuals. OpenAI also dropped new speech models in their API.
Ooh, for transcription and voice generation, right?
Yep, they're pushing for crazy accuracy and even more control over how the generated voices sound.
It makes me think about all those AI voice assistants. They could get seriously good, seriously fast.
Oh yeah, the potential there is huge. We're talking better voice interfaces, more realistic AI voices, and maybe even some cool new audio analysis tools.
So basically, AI is getting good at everything. Text, images, audio, you name it.
Multimodal is the buzzword, my friend. Models that can handle it all and handle it well.
Like this Mistral AI thing, right? They launched an API for LLM-based optical character recognition, or OCR.
This one's super interesting. Traditional OCR kind of sucks when you have a document that's not just straight up text.
Like with images, tables, all that.
Exactly. And LLM-based OCR uses the language understanding of those big models to, actually figure out the structure of the document.
So it can handle the tricky stuff like scientific papers or those ancient historical documents.
Imagine being able to easily digitize and analyze a huge collection of old handwritten documents. That's a game changer.
It would be. Speaking of changing the game, what's happening in the world of AI video generation? Runway claims to have cracked the code on consistency with their Gen 4 model.
Yeah, say it's rolling out to paid users right now.
If they really have solved the consistency problem in AI-generated videos, that's huge.
No more jumpy cuts or characters suddenly changing appearance. Smoother, more natural-looking videos.
That's always been the big hurdle. Feels like we're on the verge of some really mind-blowing stuff.
We are. And while Runway's focused on visual fidelity, Anthropic's going deep on interpretability.
Trying to get inside the AI's head and figure out how it thinks, right?
Pretty much. They're researching how their Claude model forms those internal representations and how it plans what it's going to write.
So not just what it says, but why it says it.
Exactly. It's super important, especially as we start relying on these models for more and more.
Yeah.
We got to understand their reasoning, especially for those critical applications.
Transparency and trust, those are the key things. And let's not forget Qwen 2.5 Omni, another model out there pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, the model landscape is constantly evolving. It's a dynamic space for sure.
Let's talk about where the big bucks are flowing. Qualcomm just bought VinAI's generative AI division.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty clear signal that they're serious about AI.
Qualcomm, they're the chip guys, right? So they're making a move into AI tooling.
Exactly. VinAI, by the way, was founded by a former DeepMind researcher, and they've been doing some really interesting work in generative AI.
So Qualcomm's got plans to put that AI power directly onto their devices.
I'd say that's a pretty safe bet. This acquisition could give them a real edge, putting powerful AI right into the hardware.
Makes sense. AI is becoming a core part of everything, from phones to, well, who knows what else.
Pretty much. And speaking of powerhouses, NVIDIA's been making some big moves too.
Oh, yeah, they're the ones making those GPUs everyone's clamoring for, right?
Yeah, everyone needs them for their AI training. And get this, there are rumors they might buy Lepton AI.
Lepton AI, they're a startup renting out those very same NVIDIA-powered servers for AI development.
Yep. They claim to process billions of tokens every day with almost perfect uptime. And they're all about making things easy for developers.
So if NVIDIA scoops them up, it would be a huge boost for their cloud AI stuff.
Oh yeah, they'd be a one-stop shop for AI development.
Yeah.
That could really shake things up with the other cloud providers.
It's like they're going for the whole enchilada, not just the chips, but the entire infrastructure.
They're definitely thinking big.
Yeah.
And there's another potential acquisition in the works. Gretel, a synthetic data startup.
Now, synthetic data, that's like fake data that's super realistic, but doesn't have the privacy issues of real data, right?
Exactly. It's super valuable for training AI, especially in fields where real data is scarce or, sensitive.
So Gretel's making this privacy-safe data, and NVIDIA wants in.
Yep. This would give them a way to address those data bottlenecks, and it fits with their whole strategy of becoming like a full-stack AI enabler.
Synthetic data feels like the future, especially with all the concerns around privacy.
It's a smart solution for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not just acquisitions. There are some massive investments happening in other areas.
Oh, yeah, agility robotics. They're building those humanoid robots.
Yeah, the ones that look like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, those guys. They're planning to raise $400 million with SoftBank backing them.
SoftBank's not afraid to bet big.
Huh.
Looks like they see a future for those robots.
Makes you wonder what they're working on. Then there's Isomorphic Labs, Alphabet's AI biotech arm.
They snagged a whopping $600 million for their next-gen drug design models.
Wow, that's a ton of money going into AI for drug discovery.
It's a hot area. The potential there is massive. Imagine AI helping us design new drugs way faster than we can now.
That's some serious sci-fi stuff becoming reality.
It is. And speaking of hot areas, AnySphere is booming.
They're the company behind Cursor, that AI coding tool everyone's talking about.
Yeah, they're reportedly raking in funding at a crazy high valuation. And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
Cursor is often used with Anthropic's Sonnet models. It shows how these different AI tools and platforms are all starting to connect.
It's like an AI ecosystem forming.
Right. And then, of course, we got to talk about the big kahuna, OpenAI.
They just secured a ridiculous $40 billion in new funding.
Yeah, Sam Altman even joked that their GPUs are melting from all the computation.
That image generation stuff they're doing is probably chewing through a lot of processing power.
Probably. But $40 billion, that's a statement. Shows the kind of money flooding into this space.
It's mind-blowing. But with all this AI power comes some serious questions, especially around how they're using creative work to train these models.
Oh yeah, this is getting pretty heated. The Tony Blair Institute in the UK is saying that stricter copyright laws for AI could cause some serious transatlantic tension.
You know, the U.S. might retaliate with tariffs and all that.
It's a tricky situation. The UK is looking at potentially requiring licenses for any copyrighted material used in AI training.
So any company anywhere in the world wanting to train an AI model on, say, a book by a UK author would need to get permission.
Exactly. And that could create a ton of friction with how things are done in the US.
The CEO of Channel 4 in the UK is pretty worried too. He says AI companies are basically stripping value from the UK's creative industries without fairly compensating them.
Yeah, he wants the government to step in and make sure creators are protected.
A bunch of authors even sent an open letter to the government calling out Meta for using their books to train their AI.
It's a growing concern. Creators are worried their work is being used to build these powerful systems without their consent or, getting a cut of the profits.
I can see why they'd be upset. And there's a legal battle brewing too.
Oh, yeah. The whole debate about whether using copyrighted books, even pirated ones, for AI training is considered fair use.
This Meta thing, right? They're allegedly using pirated books to train their AI.
Yeah, some people are saying it's stealing, while others are saying it falls under fair use. It's going to be interesting to see how the courts rule on this.
This could set a major precedent for how AI models are trained on creative work in the future.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see if they have to get licenses or pay royalties. And get this, Thomson Reuters thinks in the future people will write specifically for AI.
So instead of writing books for people to read, they'll be writing for AI to learn from.
Exactly. And I think there can even be new ways to pay writers for that kind of content. It's a whole new world of content creation and ownership.
Wild. But let's move on to how AI is being used in the real world. AI agents are starting to, well, act on their own, right?
They're graduating from the research labs and making their way into all sorts of industries.
And the upcoming ODSC East 2025 conference is all about this stuff.
Yeah, they've got tons of sessions on AI agents and their real-world applications.
Like, what kind of stuff are they talking about?
Well, a big focus is on building agents that can handle different types of data. Text, images, audio, all of it. Like, imagine having a smart assistant that can pull information from a huge library of documents, audio recordings, and even pictures.
Sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
Right, and they're also talking about making these agents more adaptive and contextual.
So not just spitting out generic answers, but actually understanding the situation.
Exactly. And that involves using knowledge graphs, which is a whole other rabbit hole we could go down.
Maybe another time. But it sounds like they're trying to make these AI agents super useful and reliable for real-world tasks.
Absolutely. Reliability and performance are key. There are whole sessions dedicated to making sure these things actually work well in real-world scenarios.
So it's not just hype. They're talking about the nitty-gritty of making this stuff work.
Totally. They're also talking about using structured knowledge to make these systems even smarter, about truly integrating different types of information.
And how to evaluate them properly, right?
Huh?
Got to make sure these agents are actually doing what they're supposed to.
Oh yeah, measurement and evaluation is super important. Plus, they're diving into the inner workings of those really advanced reasoning models.
The stuff that's pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
And there's a lot of focus on optimization, making sure these models can process information quickly and efficiently.
Got to keep up with the speed of the real world.
Exactly. Then there are these really cool sessions on building autonomous multi-agent systems.
That's like multiple AIs working together, right?
Exactly. Imagine a team of AI agents collaborating to solve complex problems. The possibilities are mind-blowing.
It's like that old saying, two heads are better than one. Except now it's like two AI heads are better than one human head.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And they're also talking about how to build these systems in a way that's trustworthy and ethical, especially for business use.
So not just powerful, but responsible AI.
Yep, that's the goal. And they're even discussing how to use AI for software engineering.
AI writing its own code, that's crazy.
It is. It's like the future's happening right before our eyes.
So we've got the research, the potential, but what about real-world examples?
Well, Microsoft just launched some new AI agents for factory automation at Hannover Messe 2025.
Wait, so AIs are going to be running factories now?
They're designed to be easy to use, even in those industrial settings.
Makes sense. Automation's already huge in manufacturing. AI's like the next step.
It is. And Airbnb said they used AI to speed up their software engineering work by, like, a crazy amount.
Seriously? By how much?
They finished a project in weeks that would have normally taken months, all thanks to AI pipelines and those large language models.
That's going to save them a ton of time and money.
Oh yeah, AI is a huge efficiency booster when used right. And speaking of Microsoft, they're integrating AI even deeper into their Office suite.
Microsoft 365 Copilot, right. I've heard good things about that.
They're adding new researcher and analyst tools. And then there's Hostinger. They launched a no-code AI tool for creating web apps.
No code is getting so popular. Makes sense to bring AI into that too.
It's all about making tech more accessible. And then there's Mind Studio, another tool aiming to make using AI agents easier.
AI is like infiltrating everything. It's in our offices, in our factories, and get this, even in sports.
Oh yeah, TCS just partnered with the Schneider Electric Marathon de Paris.
AI coaching marathon runners, what will they think of next?
Well, in healthcare, the EU's investing in immersive environments powered by AI for training. And get this, there's buzz about Apple maybe adding AI features to the iPhone's health app.
So AI helping doctors diagnose patients.
Who knows? It could be anything from analyzing your sleep patterns to detecting early signs of disease. And there's been a lot of talk about AI's role in fraud detection.
Yeah, I heard that MLOps podcast where they talked about prompt injection and AI helping to fight fraud.
It's a cat and mouse game, but AI can be a powerful tool on both sides. And And then there's AI being used for data storytelling, using tools like Altair, Copilot, even ChatGPT and DALL-E to make data more engaging and understandable.
Yeah, data visualization is so important. AI can definitely help with that.
Oh yeah, AI can turn data into a story. And then there are AI interview assistants popping up.
Those are designed to help people prepare for job interviews, right?
Yeah, they can help you practice your answers and even give you feedback on your performance.
It's like having an AI career coach.
And both Microsoft and OpenAI are launching free AI skills training programs.
It's smart, right? They're trying to get more people up to speed on AI so they can use their tools.
It's like they're investing in their future user base.
Makes sense. And then there's Notion AI. They just hit 20 million users.
People are clearly finding value in using AI for productivity.
It's all happening so fast, but let's take a step back and look at the foundational stuff, the research driving all these advancements.
Yeah, there's a lot of work being done on reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. It's
Huh.
a key technique for making sure these AI models are aligned with, well, us.
Teaching AI how to behave, basically.
Exactly.
Right.
And there are some new techniques emerging, like DPO,
Right.
that could be even better than RLHF.
So they're finding more efficient ways to train these models.
Absolutely. And then there's research on something called chain of thought windows.
That sounds intriguing.
It's about making chatbots more honest by,
Mhm.
get this, forcing them to explain their reasoning.
So, like, show your work, AI.
Well, basically, transparency is key. And then there's ReRec, a new framework for improving those recommendation systems everyone loves to hate.
The algorithms that suggest what to watch, read, and buy.
Yep, those. And this new framework uses multi-step reasoning to make those recommendations even better, even more creepily accurate.
Oh, great. Even more ads I can't resist.
Well, hey, got to keep those algorithms fed.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, Anthropic's Model Context Protocol is gaining traction.
What's that about?
It's a way to connect AI systems with external data in real time. OpenAI has even adopted it.
So AI can pull in live data and update its knowledge on the fly.
Exactly. It's pretty powerful. And NVIDIA's open-sourced their Run.ai scheduler. It's for optimizing GPU usage in AI infrastructure.
So they're sharing their secret sauce for making those GPUs even more efficient.
Yep, they're encouraging collaboration and innovation. Then there's Grade Technology. They're working on solutions to speed up data storage for AI.
It's like every part of the AI stack is getting upgraded.
It is. And then there's ByteDance. They've come up with a new reward system to prevent those unintended behaviors in AI models. When AI does something weird or unexpected.
Like when a chatbot suddenly starts spouting conspiracy theories.
Yeah, stuff like that. And there's research focused on improving the diversity of the stuff AI can create.
More creative, less predictable.
Exactly. And all this research is leading to practical applications. For instance, there's a new tool that uses Atlas Platform to check if legal AI models comply with GDPR.
So AI for lawyers, but also AI keeping lawyers in check.
It's all connected. And people are talking about combining agentic AI with platform engineering to create some really powerful systems.
AI building the infrastructure that AI runs on.
It's a bit meta, isn't it?
It is. But even with all this progress, there are still challenges, like figuring out how to monitor and understand these complex AI systems.
Observability, it's a big issue. You got to know what your AI is doing and why.
Especially if you're going to trust it to make important decisions.
And Gartner predicts companies are going to spend even more on generative AI, so it's not slowing down anytime soon. Nope, it's just getting started. And none of this would be possible without semiconductors. They're the fuel for the AI revolution.
The chip shortage was a real wake-up call for a lot of people.
Yeah, we realize just how dependent we are on them. And then there's this whole concept of AI clones.
Wait, like digital copies of people's minds?
Well, not exactly.
Yeah.
But people are talking about using AI to capture the knowledge and expertise of, say, a leading scientist or a top CEO, sort of like a digital legacy.
That's both fascinating and a little scary. What if my AI clone starts making bad decisions?
Who knows? Maybe we'll have to have AI therapy sessions in the future.
I can see the headlines now. AI therapist quits after treating too many stressed out AI clones.
Huh. It's funny, but also, kind of thought-provoking. And then there's all this research on using the human brain as a blueprint for even smarter AI.
So we're trying to build AI that thinks like us, but better.
That's the idea. But it's not easy. Our brains are incredibly complex.
Speaking of complex, India's having a tough time getting ready for autonomous vehicles.
Yeah, the infrastructure and regulations just aren't there yet.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
It will.
Yeah.
And on a more positive note, Infosys is teaming up with the Linux Foundation to promote responsible AI.
So they're trying to make sure AI is used for good.
Yep, they're focusing on ethics and fairness.
Good for them. And there's some really cool stuff happening in India with AI for tuberculosis diagnosis.
AI could save lives there, especially in areas where access to healthcare is limited.
That's really exciting.
And on the research front, people are working on improving how large language models can reason and use external information.
Yeah.
It's about making them better at finding and understanding relevant data.
So not just parroting back what they've been trained on, but actually going out and doing research in real time.
Exactly. And then there's this whole idea of using AI to sharpen storytelling.
I thought AI was already pretty good at that.
It is, but it's still early days. People are starting to think of AI as a tool for storytelling, like a musical instrument or a sculpting chisel.
So AI can help us tell better stories, more impactful stories.
That's the hope. And then there's Inflection AI. They've created this chatbot called Pi that's supposed to be emotionally intelligent.
A chatbot with feelings. That's kind of freaky.
I know, right? But it's raising a lot of questions about the future of AI and how we interact with it.
If AI can understand and respond to our emotions, how will that change things?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's just scratching the surface of what's happening in the world of AI right now.
So to sum up our deep dive into all this AI news, we've seen some amazing advancements in what these models can do.
And the investments are pouring in. We're talking billions of dollars flowing into companies and research.
And the ethical debates are heating up. Who owns the data? How should we be training these models?
And we're seeing real-world applications popping up everywhere. AI is changing how we work, how we play, even how we think.
It's a wild ride, and it's only getting wilder.
So here's a thought for you all to chew on. With all these changes happening so fast, how do you think we'll be interacting with technology, with information, in the next few years? How will this all play out?
It's a question worth pondering. So explore these ideas, do your own research. The future of AI is being written right now, and we're all part of it. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.